In the third year of my secret marriage to a top star, I went to visit him on set and found his assistant hand-washing his underwear for him. He was playing a video game. I tried to fold his clothes for him, but his assistant shoved me aside. "Julia, let me handle Noah's clothes. You don't know how to do it. Noah can't do without me." The suds on her hands soaked my new Chanel outfit. The top star explained from the side. "Lisa's used to doing it. Just let her keep busy." I suddenly said, "Let's get a divorce." The top star froze. His assistant's smirk was harder to suppress than an AK's recoil. There was no helping it. I was pregnant. A marriage for 4 people really was a little crowded. Chapter 1. On Weibo, there was an account named "Did Julia and Noah get divorced today?" That was updated every single day. Every day. It posted the same sentence. Day XX of liking Noah. Have Julia and Noah gotten divorced yet? Julia was me. Noah was my secretly married top star husband. The owner of the Weibo account was his assistant, Lisa. Chapter 2. Noah and I were college classmates, and we were each other's first loves. Back then, the two of us ranked dead last and second to last in our class at the Drama Academy. Almost every time class ended, we would go cry together in the small grove. We deeply felt that our futures were hopeless, so we started dating. After we entered the entertainment industry, we indeed failed to make much of a splash. When our relationship was at its strongest, he proposed to me. I said yes. Chapter 3. At first, we were quite happy. I took some jobs as a car show model and an online catalog model. He worked as an extra on film sets. Later, my agent took a liking to me. My career started going smoothly. Once I began earning a little more money, I used it to buy Noah a spot on a talent show and spent money promoting him, giving him opportunities to appear on camera. Chapter 4. Later, although both of our careers developed with plenty of bumps along the way, we were at least able to support ourselves. I became a 4th or 5th tier celebrity and played many supporting roles. I was quite satisfied. I was not too busy, nor was I too idle. I did not earn much, but it was still far better than what an average office worker made. Chapter 5. Noah was much luckier than me. He landed a role in a BL drama and instantly became a top star. Almost every BL drama became a hit as soon as it aired. But as his popularity exploded, our relationship grew increasingly distant. He was not there on my birthday. On his birthday, he had to spend it with his fans. Later, he got an assistant, Lisa. Chapter 6. Lisa liked him. Anyone with eyes could see it. At first, I told him to fire her, but he told me not to be so petty, that it was impossible for him to have no female staff around him, and told me to stop competing with another woman over a man. Later, he got drunk and slept with Lisa. That was probably 2 years ago. Lisa used an unknown number to send me photos of the two of them in bed. That day, because my acting failed to meet the director's standards, I kept messing up my lines and delaying the crew's progress. The director tore me apart, and even the staff rolled their eyes at me. I hid in the bathroom and cried. That was when I received Noah's bed photos. Chapter 7. After I walked out of the bathroom and went back to acting, I never had to worry about being unable to cry again. I could even cry with emotional depth. Later, because my acting improved, my status rose by a tier, and people even praised me as a serious actress with real acting skills. Every time Lisa did something with him, she would send me a message to tell me. Later, she stopped hiding her identity altogether. I watched helplessly as Noah handed over his money and assets to her to manage. I watched Lisa get pregnant, then have an abortion for him. I watched as, on my birthday, Lisa called and said she had secured an opportunity for him, and he hurried off to be with her. Chapter 8. But I did not want a divorce. Why the hell should I get divorced? Did Lisa not want to be the mistress? Fine. I would grant her wish. As long as I did not divorce him, she would never be able to see the light of day. She would have to keep getting abortions forever. Noah valued his career greatly. There was no way he would allow Lisa to give birth to his child first. If I exposed him in the future and he already had a child, his career would be ruined. Chapter 9. He also gave me many resources. Every time he fooled around with Lisa, he would give me expensive gifts or secure better roles for me. I quite liked acting. I got more and more work. I was basically living apart from him for long periods of time. Whenever we were not apart, I was always on my period. I did not sleep with him. Chapter 10. After he started cheating with Lisa, the number of people he slept with grew larger and larger. He even started having those on-set flings. I went from feeling heartbroken at first to becoming numb later. Gradually, I got used to it. I knew him too well. He did not like using condoms. When I was with him, I firmly refused to let him go without one. But Lisa loved him so much that not only was she willing to be his mistress, she could even stand lookout for him while he had on-set flings with other people. Lisa would definitely indulge his bad habit. According to the messages Lisa sent me, she had already had 4 abortions for him. It was a kind of love I could not understand. Chapter 11. But Noah was actually quite careful. Had Lisa not sent me anonymous messages, I would never have known that he was cheating on me. After all, he really treated me quite well. He had a gentle personality, always showed concern for me whenever we met, and even had a pair of alluring, romantic eyes. But recently, I had no choice but to bring up divorce with him. Chapter 12. I went to his film set to see him. He was very happy to come and pick me up. He really was busy. He worked non-stop, 365 days a year. He was under tremendous pressure. He was even taking antidepressants. The bags under his eyes could barely be concealed anymore. I felt a little sorry for him. Chapter 13. When we went to his room, Lisa was washing his underwear for him. Noah naturally sat down on the sofa, took out his phone, and asked me, "Want to play a game?" I shook my head. His bed was a little messy, with several outfits tossed around randomly. I was a bit of a neat freak, so I wanted to help him tidy them up, but Lisa shoved me aside. The suds on her hands got on me, dirtying my new Chanel outfit. I frowned. This mistress really had no manners. Chapter 14. Lisa said, "Julia, let me handle Noah's clothes. You don't know how to do it. Noah can't do without me." Noah looked up, pulled out a napkin, wiped the suds off me, and said, "Just let Lisa keep busy. She's used to doing it." Lisa looked at me smugly and provocatively. Had this been before, I definitely would never have agreed to a divorce even if it killed me. I would have made sure she could never see the light of day. But now, looking at Noah and then at Lisa, I suddenly said, "Let's get a divorce." Chapter 15. The room became so quiet that a pin drop could be heard. Lisa smiled. It was joy from the bottom of her heart. Then she immediately tried to hide it, with great difficulty. Her expression was even harder to suppress than an AK's recoil. I silently committed her expression to memory, in case I ever needed to portray this kind of expression in the future. I could imitate her. I looked at Noah again. He froze. Then he let out a hasty laugh, his voice tight. "Stop joking. We dated for 4 years and have been married for 3. We're about to make it past the 7-year itch." Chapter 16. Lisa spoke up. "Noah, maybe Julia wants a divorce because she's found true love. We should give her our blessing." "Shut up." Noah suddenly flew into a rage and roared, "Get the hell out." Lisa's eyes instantly filled with tears. Her sadness seemed about to overflow. At that moment, I felt ashamed of myself, because I could never love Noah as much as she did. When I found out he had cheated on me, the sadness I felt over failing at acting was even greater than the sadness I felt over discovering his betrayal. Bearing her humiliation in silence, Lisa finished washing his underwear, hung it up to dry, and then whispered, "Smoke less. I'll go buy you something to eat." Then she went out. Her pitiful demeanor made guilt reappear on Noah's face. Chapter 17. After she went out, Noah pulled me down to sit beside him. With a gentle expression, he asked me, "Are you too tired? Or are you angry because I spend too little time with you? I'll change, okay?" Noah was quite handsome. It was hard not to be moved when such a handsome man gently coaxed me like this, especially when he truly did love me quite a lot. But when I remembered that he was damaged goods and that I was pregnant, I knew I could not stay with him any longer. Before I could speak, tears began to fall. I shook my head and said, "I'm sorry. I've already spent 2 years tormenting myself. I kept telling myself that I love you, that no matter what you did, I could accept it, and that I had to accept it. But I'm truly in so much pain every day. I watch you and her come and go together. Watch the two of you act even more intimate than you are with me. Jealousy is like venom, filling my entire chest. I've already become someone I don't recognize. Chapter 18. The guilt on his face flickered for an instant, but then he firmly reproached me. You are overthinking it. Lisa is nothing more than an assistant. There's no need for you to be jealous of her. What status does she have? And what status do you have? How could she possibly compare to you? That was true. Lisa was average looking. As a celebrity, I was naturally glamorous and beautiful. Lisa could not compare to me, but I knew that in our line of work. The pressure was intense, the workload was grueling, and we were surrounded by the glitz and decadence of the fame game. Having someone by our side who loved us unconditionally and kept us company was incredibly important. Lisa had taken on that role by Noah's side. Chapter 19. Noah cupped my face and said, "Baby, stop saying silly things. We made it through those days living in a basement together. Now that our lives have gotten better, there's no reason for us to separate." I nodded. That was indeed the logic. That was why I had refused to divorce him no matter what before. But my baby's father was rich and powerful. When I became pregnant, he directly gifted me a traditional courtyard house. He also promised me that as long as I got divorced, he would marry me. So I really had no choice but to get divorced. Chapter 20. I took out my phone and showed him the messages Lisa had sent me. His face darkened as he read through the messages. His fists clenched again and again. Then he hurriedly explained to me in a panic. I was only fooling around. We've been apart for too long. I've been under a lot of pressure. I was only using her to relieve my stress. The one I truly love is you. With tears streaming down my face, I put on a deeply moved expression and said, "Of course I know that I'm the one you love. I also know that, in this industry, physical cheating is hardly considered a big deal, but I've already spent 2 years trying to mentally prepare myself for this. I still can't accept it. Especially when it comes to Lisa. She has never stopped sending me messages. She even told me that you usually have on-set flings with other actresses. I know your heart belongs to me, but your body belongs to many women. I truly can't accept it. Let's get a divorce. I don't want things to turn ugly." Chapter 21. I got up to leave, but he hugged me. In a panic, he kept pleading with me. "Don't divorce me. Don't divorce me. Everything I've done was for our future, wasn't it? Now that we have money and fame, why do we still have to separate? I worked so hard just to give you a good life. Baby, don't leave me. I'll give you all my money. I'll fire Lisa and stop letting her be my assistant. Please don't leave me." I shook my head sadly. "Do you think Lisa is that easy to get rid of? She loves you. She has already become completely obsessed with you. The fact that she could secretly send me these messages proves that she has kept evidence of what happened between the two of you. If you drive her away, she will definitely expose you online. By then, your entire career will be ruined. I can't bear to see your career destroyed overnight." He was deeply moved. I could tell that hatred for Lisa had appeared on his face. He felt that Lisa had played him and was now going to threaten him. I held his hand and said, "Keep her pacified for now. Besides, she has already had 4 abortions for you. She might never be able to become a mother in the future. You and I should get divorced first, and then we can see how to handle your relationship with her. I know you have me in your heart, and I have you in mine. We can simply continue loving each other quietly like this. Marriage is only a formality." Chapter 22. Deeply moved, he hugged me and murmured softly into my ear, "You really are a good woman." I hugged him back and said, "It is because I love you that I am a good woman." After I continued persuading him, Noah agreed to divorce me. We had already agreed that the divorce was only a formality, and that we would still be the same as before. I did not even know what things had been like before anymore. As long as he agreed to the divorce first, that was enough. When I walked out, Lisa was standing at the door. Noah came out to see me off. Lisa hurriedly asked, "Noah, Julia, how did your talk go?" The excitement in her tone could not be concealed at all. Without hesitation, Noah slapped her across the face. It startled me. I had not realized he had violent tendencies. Covering her face, Lisa looked at Noah in disbelief. Noah roared angrily, "Why did you tell my wife about what happened between us? Didn't you say you only wanted to help me satisfy my physical needs? You played me." Lisa looked at Noah obsessively. as though she loved him even more after he slapped her. She even cast me a smug look, as if to say, "See? He only hits me because I'm his woman. You don't even qualify to be hit by him." Lisa said, "Noah, it's because I love you too much. She doesn't love you at all. If she loved you, why wouldn't she give up her job to stay by your side? When will you finally see clearly that I am the one who truly loves you?" Chapter 23. With a sad and forlorn expression, I said, "I'll leave first. You two can take your time talking." Noah glared viciously at Lisa, then escorted me downstairs. Lisa had been slapped across the face, yet she still had a blissful smile on her face. I truly could not understand it. After going downstairs, I got into the car, and Noah left. In the shadow of the Rolls-Royce, a man dressed in a black haute couture suit, his expression cold and stern, lifted his eyes to look at me and asked, "Is it done?" Chapter 24. This man was called Diego, known as the Crown Prince of Beijing's elite circle. He was the father of the child in my belly. The talent agency I worked for was one of the companies under his control. Originally, an insignificant nobody like me would never have been able to get involved with a big shot like him. But he came to the company's year-end banquet and saw me. He gave me an extra glance. The shrewd people at the company immediately understood what he meant and openly and subtly hinted that I should go accompany him. They must have been dreaming. I was a respectable married woman. Their attempt to force a decent woman into prostitution would not work on me. Perhaps because he had waited for me for so long without success. Or perhaps because he had never met a celebrity as virtuous and unapproachable as me. Diego later came to visit me on set himself. Although he appeared cold and aloof, carrying the lofty air of a man in power looking down from above, when I spoke with him, he was actually quite articulate and wore a smile on his face. Chapter 25. But being with him was not particularly comfortable either, because I always felt a certain distance between us, and I felt as though he was looking down on me, so I had no intention of becoming involved with him in any way. He was nothing more than a pastime to relieve my boredom. He was the one who approached me of his own accord. I certainly could not guarantee that I would give him anything in return. Later, Noah cheated on me, although Lisa had already provoked me to the point of numbness. Deep down, I was actually still very uncomfortable and wanted to get revenge. But looking at all the people around me, most of them could not compare to Noah. Noah was still very outstanding. First, he had many excellent film and television works. Second, he was quite handsome. Third, he treated me quite well. Those three conditions alone were enough to defeat 99% of people. The only person who seemed better than Noah was Diego. He had power and influence, and his business empire covered a vast range of industries. He was also tall and handsome. It was said that there was mixed race ancestry in his family. That was because his features were particularly deep-set and aloof. Chapter 26. Coincidentally, during that period, he seemed to notice that I was in a bad mood. He often came to the set to keep me company. He brought me meals. When I developed a high fever, he was also the one who discovered it. Then he mobilized a helicopter, sent me to the hospital, and took care of me without even taking off his clothes to rest. That day, I wanted to call him Mom. My burning tears soaked the shirt he was wearing as he held me. Just as I had said before, in our line of work, the pressure was extremely high, and our schedules were irregular. We truly needed someone to care for us and stay by our side. Diego came to accompany me and care for me during a time like that, making me depend on him without even realizing it. Getting together with him seemed to happen naturally. Of course, the most important reason was still my desire to get revenge on Noah. On his 32nd birthday, he invited me to dinner. During the meal, he asked me what gift I had prepared for him. Chapter 27. Before that, I had always only taken from him and never given anything in return. When he cared for me, I accepted it all without hesitation. When I was in a bad mood and treated him like my emotional trash can, he accepted it all without complaint. When I wanted to lean against him and draw warmth and support from his body, he cooperated. But when he wanted to hug me, I refused. I did not care whether he was happy or unhappy either. Anyway, whenever he came, I used him. When he did not come, I acted as though he did not exist in my life. So when he asked me, I said with a cheeky smile, "I'm here in person. Isn't that the best gift?" Thinking about it later, I realized I had truly been recklessly audacious to dare pull something like that with him. Fortunately, he was still a normal person. He smiled too. Then we drank red wine. I thought we counted as friends. In my heart, I thought that from then on, I would be his emotional trash can too. Chapter 28. I asked him to take me back to the film set. Instead, he drove back to his villa. I fell asleep in the car. By the time I came to, he had already thrown me onto the bed. He leaned over me, stared into my eyes, and then kissed me very gently. The way he treated me made me feel like I was a precious treasure to be cherished. It had been a very long time since Noah and I had slept together. After being seduced by Diego, I wanted it too. What happened next followed naturally. But a person's true nature would never change, not even in bed. At first, he was gentle and patient, but then he became fierce and relentless. Just like he was in real life. When we had first met, he acted gentle and patient, like an older, good-tempered, mature and dependable man. But after spending more time together, I realized he was actually very domineering and authoritarian. Had I not been good at getting along with people and able to turn a blind eye to almost anything, I definitely would not have been able to stay with him either. But that came later. Chapter 29. That was how my relationship with Diego continued to develop. To be honest, sometimes even I did not know what our relationship was. I had a husband, so he could only be considered my lover. He was also the other man. He had neither a wife nor a girlfriend, but he had never said that I was his girlfriend either. So I supposed I counted as his mistress or his fuck buddy. Either way, it was not a healthy or normal relationship. Sometimes, I despised myself quite a bit too. I felt that I had been corrupted, tainted by the filth and bad energy of the fame and fortune circle. I also knew that the difference in our status was too great, and there was no way anything could ever come of us. 3 months ago, I brought up breaking up with him, wanting to end our relationship. Chapter 30. In the more than a year I spent with him, we actually did not have that much time together. He was very busy. He had to fly all over the world. I was also very busy, spending 360 days a year on film sets when I did not have work. If Noah came home, I still had to go back for a while. I had never planned on divorcing Noah before, but I was still somewhat happy while I was with Diego. He was a rather charming man. He also helped me quite a lot with my career. Sometimes, when I was under too much pressure, grew bad-tempered, and wanted to go crazy, I would argue with him. In fact, it was mostly me cursing him one-sidedly, saying that he had seduced a respectable married woman like me and caused me to no longer be a perfect victim. He would just watch me quietly, letting me vent however I liked, like a piece of wood. Only when I reached out to shove him and asked whether he had gone mute would he hug me and kiss me. I felt like I was actually quite susceptible to this tactic. Getting forcibly kissed by him. Perhaps there really was something a little wrong with me psychologically. Chapter 31. Women needed companionship. Through that companionship, their feelings for the other person would grow deeper and deeper. When I realized that my dependence on him was gradually growing stronger, I panicked. I knew that dependence and love were twin brothers. I loved him too. How could I not love him? For me, the conditions for falling in love were very simple: tall, rich, handsome, and treated me well. He fulfilled every single one. Moreover, he possessed that damned charm of a mature man. He was like a savage in a suit. Whenever something joyful or sad happened to me, the person I always thought of sharing it with was him. That was an extremely dangerous thing. I needed to put an end to this danger, to prevent myself from falling beyond redemption. Chapter 32. When I brought up breaking up, he was reading a document, hearing my words. He lifted his head and looked at me. At the time, his expression was composed. Sitting on the sofa, he stared steadily at me and asked, "What do you plan to do after ending things with me? Continue staying with your cheating husband and keep maintaining this riddled with holes marriage of yours?" He seemed like an older brother who cared about me, worrying about my future and acting as though he was thinking for my sake. But after hearing his words, I involuntarily followed his line of thinking. Yet I did not know what I wanted either. What would I do after ending things with him? I had never thought about it. because I could not think as far ahead as the future. I only wanted to save my present self. So, after hesitating for a moment, I said, "Of course I'll continue with my marriage. After all, he hasn't asked for a divorce either." Diego sneered. "I don't see the point of you doing this, and I don't believe you can continue your marriage with him. If I'm not mistaken, you've barely been with him over the past 2 years, have you?" His words were somewhat harsh and sarcastic. What he said left me utterly embarrassed, but I could not refute him either, because he knew my schedule, especially since I was an artist signed to one of his companies. Chapter 33. Biting my lip, I desperately asked, "Then what else am I supposed to do? Keep being with you and be your mistress? Get beaten by your lawful wife in the future?" I hate homewreckers more than anything. That insulted him too. After all, wasn't he the other man in my marriage? Although nobody cared about that, the air fell silent for a few seconds. After a long while, he said in a deep voice, "If you're willing, I can marry you." I remained silent for a long time, because the difference in our status was enormous. I had never imagined that we could get married. At most, after he got married, I would become his mistress, but I was not willing to lower myself and do something like that. I was very dignified. Yet I also knew that he was a man of his word. He disdained lying. Chapter 34. So I was too stunned to speak for a moment. He said gently, "What is so difficult to understand about that?" He continued, "I was even willing to become a shameful other man for you. Is it really so hard to understand that I would marry you?" I hesitantly asked, "Would your family agree?" He smiled and said, "I'm already 33 this year. Even if I brought a man home, they wouldn't say anything." Belatedly, I was enveloped by a long-lost feeling of joy. After that day, I began seriously considering our relationship. What would it be like if I married him? He was also an excellent man, and he was highly tolerant. He was older than me and guided me in many matters with the bearing of a senior. Moreover, he was also willing to see me develop well. For example, when I was working at a company under him, he gave me many resources. Noah had also given me many resources, although I rarely played leading roles. Nearly all the supporting roles I played were exceptionally memorable. Many of those supporting characters even outshone the protagonists, because I rarely engaged in publicity stunts. I did not appear to be that famous. This was the kind of lifestyle I liked, having plenty of roles to act in, without having so many miscellaneous matters distracting me. Chapter 35. I could not help thinking that if I became the wife of a wealthy man, then I would be the boss's wife of my current company. I would have a greater say in the development of my future career. Moreover, if we had a child, my child would also stand on their parents' shoulders and have better prospects. Although Noah was also excellent, he was not capital, after all, nor could he compare to Diego's foresight and powerful family background. The next day, I told Diego that if I became pregnant, we would get married. If I did not become pregnant, there was no need for us to marry. After that, we stopped using protection, and it was not long before I became pregnant. Once I was pregnant, naturally, I first had to divorce Noah. My divorce from Noah went very smoothly. He felt completely guilty toward me, so he compensated me with a great deal of property. I accepted it with tears in my eyes. Chapter 36. But after we signed the agreement, Noah still held my hand and said, "Baby, can we not get divorced? I can cut things off with Lisa and fire her." Lisa was standing right beside us, and I felt as though she was about to grind her teeth to pieces. I gently comforted him, saying, "She already knows how to take care of you perfectly well. Don't neglect your own health just because of me. It's enough that we have each other in our hearts. Marriage is only a formality." Lisa looked at me with eyes full of contempt. I did not even spare her a glance. A stupid woman who could not even be a competent mistress was not worth wasting my energy on. We collected our divorce certificates at the Civil Affairs Bureau. The compensation he had promised me had also been paid in full. I felt it was quite acceptable. Stroking my belly, I thought that even if Diego and I could not truly get married or make it to the end, the assets in my hands would still be enough for my child and me to live worry-free for the rest of our lives. After we left the Civil Affairs Bureau, Noah's eyes were still red. Diego drove over to pick me up. Chapter 37. Seeing us come out, He opened the car door and got out. Tall and long-legged. He walked toward me. Noah and Lisa were both stunned. Of course they knew Diego. Noah went up to him and held out his hand, wanting to shake Diego's hand. Diego was very well-mannered, so he politely reached out and shook hands with him. Lisa also hurried over, bowing and scraping as she greeted him. "Hello, boss. What a coincidence to run into you here." Diego nodded politely and said, "What a coincidence." Then he looked at me. I also nodded and said, "What a coincidence." He nodded. Noah knew that Diego was my ultimate boss. After exchanging a few words, he hurriedly left with Lisa, watching their retreating backs. I curled my lips. Diego wrapped an arm around my shoulders and said, "Stop looking. Let's go inside." And so, the two of us went back inside and got ourselves a marriage certificate. The staff members were dumbfounded, saying they had never seen anyone as efficient as me. I hurriedly explained, "My ex-husband cheated on me, and I didn't want to lose to him, so I casually got married again." Diego generally did not bother arguing with me over that kind of nonsense. Chapter 38. Although Diego and I got married and collected our marriage certificate, my life still did not change very much. He took care of organizing the wedding. I continued filming as usual. This time, I was filming a movie in which I played the female lead. It was a script Diego had found for me. We both had a feeling that this movie would become a massive hit. By the time filming ended, I was already 4 months pregnant. We then held a small but luxurious wedding. Although this was already my second marriage, it was still my first time attending a wedding of my own. At the wedding, I was overcome with emotions. I used to constantly look forward to my wedding with Noah. I never expected that, in the end, it would be at a wedding with someone else that I fulfilled my wish of wearing a wedding dress. Very few people in the industry knew about this wedding. Even those who did know would not speak carelessly about it. After the wedding, I began my life of resting and taking care of my pregnancy. Because I had previously filmed many dramas that were still waiting to air, it looked as though I remained constantly active on screen. In reality, I had basically stopped attending offline events. Chapter 39. After 10 months of pregnancy, I gave birth to a daughter. Diego and I were both very happy. I felt that the bond between us had grown even closer. After recovering for 3 months, I returned to work. Coincidentally, the movie I had previously filmed was nominated for the Golden Monkey Award. I attended in full glamour, but I ran into Noah at the awards ceremony. When he saw me, he rushed over in a hurry. He looked much more haggard. He grabbed my wrist and anxiously asked, "Honey, where have you been? I've nearly gone crazy looking for you." After our divorce, he sent me messages every few days. At first, I replied occasionally, just to brush him off, but he became increasingly relentless. I was already quite busy with work. How would I have any spare time to pay attention to him? Later, he kept trying to come see me too. My belly was already huge. How could I let him come see me? What if he found out that I had betrayed him and wanted his money back? I was so frightened that I immediately blocked him. Chapter 40. After marrying Diego, I even moved into his villa. How could Noah possibly see me anymore? But how could I say any of that out loud? I was someone who cared about keeping up appearances now, so I sighed sorrowfully and said, "I'm sorry for making you worry. I was afraid that if I stayed in contact with you, I would never be able to forget you and would be unable to stop myself from begging you to get back together with me. That was why I blocked you." A sorrowful look appeared on his face again. He said, "Baby, I regret it. Ever since I divorced you, I've regretted it." I was a little afraid that he wanted to take the assets back, so I comforted him, saying, "Does it really matter whether we're divorced or not? Aren't we still the same as before?" He said, somewhat on the verge of breaking down, "How are we the same? I can't even find you now." I said, "Since you like me so much, I'll give you one of my photo albums." He looked a little bewildered, not understanding why the conversation had suddenly turned to a photo album, but he continued, "Let's remarry. If you don't like Lisa, I'll fire her. I'll never see her again. I'll make a clean break with her." Had he truly wanted to make a clean break, he would have done so long ago instead of waiting and waiting until now. I was a little speechless inside, but for the sake of behaving like a respectable person, I still said, Noah. Stop saying silly things. Lisa knows everything about you. Aren't you afraid that, after you fire her, she'll expose you and destroy your career? If your career were destroyed, my heart would ache. We put in so much effort to achieve the glory we have today. Why would you ruin your own future? Chapter 41. If Lisa exposed him, she would inevitably reveal that he and I had once been married. Then my career would also be ruined by the two of them. I did not want these two idiots affecting me. Noah seemed close to losing it. I don't have the energy to worry about my career anymore. All I know is that after divorcing you, my heart has felt empty. I regret it. I regret sleeping with her after getting drunk. And I regret being entangled with other women. I pursed my lips and curiously asked him, if time could start over, would you really remain faithful and chaste for me? He nodded. If time could start over, I would rather not have become so famous and return to the life we had before with you. I thought to myself, that's impossible. I did not want to live the life I had before. Life was all about defeating monsters, leveling up, and upgrading to something new. He had been pestering me for so long that it was almost time for the awards ceremony to begin. We needed to go take our seats in the audience. Just as I was hesitating over how to get rid of him, Lisa came over. Chapter 42. After Noah and I divorced, Lisa changed the name of her Weibo account to, "Did Noah and I get married today?" Watching her post all that deranged content there, I simply could not bear to look. What kind of girl was so desperate to get married? Even if Noah was rich, there was no need to take it this far, but it was her life, so I would not comment on it. When I saw Lisa, I was startled. Back when there had still been some flesh on her face, she could have been called round-faced and cute. Now, she was already so thin that she was practically skin and bones. Her eyes had sunken in, making her look a little frightening. The dark circles beneath her eyes were also very heavy. She came over and stared gloomily at Gu Yuanqing, startling even me. When Noah saw her, there was obvious impatience on his face. Lisa immediately endured the humiliation in silence and said to him, "Noah, hurry and touch up your makeup. The awards ceremony is about to begin." Chapter 43. Noah's career had developed quite well too. Perhaps he really was a natural-born actor. 2 of his television dramas had become huge hits, making me incredibly envious. Noah said impatiently, "Can you stop watching me as though you're guarding a criminal?" Lisa pursed her lips and said, "I'm your assistant. I only want to take care of you." I hurriedly said, "You two take your time talking. I'll leave first." Lisa stopped me. "It's been a long time since anyone has seen you at an event. Did your jobs decrease after the divorce? Do you need us to give you a hand?" There was even a malicious smile at the corners of her mouth, as though my life could no longer go on after leaving Noah. But as soon as she finished saying that, Noah immediately looked at me with heartache and said, "Honey, don't you have any projects? I have 2 scripts in my hands. How about you play the female lead?" I was shocked. Was he already able to decide on the female lead himself now? Beside him, Lisa pursed her lips and advised, "Noah, stop joking. The female leads were chosen long ago. With Julia's qualifications, she would not even be considered for the 3rd female lead." Chapter 44. Noah said irritably, "Can you stop being so mean?" Tears swirled in Lisa's eyes. She suddenly broke down and said, "Are you still unable to forget her? Do you regret getting divorced? Do you regret being with me?" Noah was on the verge of breaking down too. He said, "Isn't that obvious? You look so ordinary. Why would I abandon a beautiful wife like Julia to marry you? I don't even dare to take you out with me now. If everyone found out about our relationship, they would definitely laugh me to death." It was not my place to get involved in matters between a couple, so I hurriedly tried to slip away. But the moment I turned around, I crashed into a tall, solid chest, rubbing my forehead. I looked up, just about to snap. "Are you blind?" When I saw Diego, he was looking down at me with concern, asking whether I had hurt myself. I pouted unhappily and said, "Are you blind? Can't you see that I'm already frowning in misery?" At that moment, Noah hurried over again and began making a fuss. "Mr. Diego, please don't take it personally. She probably hasn't been out working for a long time, so she's having a little trouble adjusting." Diego was completely confused by him. Chapter 45. He looked at Noah, then at me, and asked with an arm around my shoulders, "What were you talking about just now?" I peeled his hand off me. My public image now was that of a single female celebrity. No one was allowed to ruin my career. I answered properly. "We were just chatting casually." When Noah saw his gesture, he thought Diego was harassing me. Noah pulled me behind him, stepped up to face Diego, and said unhappily, "Mr. Diego, Julia is my woman. Please don't put your hands on her." Diego's expression darkened for an instant. Perhaps very few people had ever dared confront him so directly. I looked at Noah with a little more respect. I had not expected him to have such guts. But the next moment, he said, "If you want to put your hands on someone, you can put your hands on me. We're both men. I'm not afraid." "Me?" Lisa's eyes brimmed with tears. Diego looked him up and down, then finally stared at his head, probably wondering whether there was something wrong with his brain. Feeling that there was no point in staying there any longer, I wanted to go sit at the awards ceremony first. But Noah would not let me go. Chapter 46. He stopped me and said, "Baby, let's remarry. This time, we won't keep our marriage secret. I'll make our relationship public. We'll become the happiest celebrity couple in the entertainment industry." My scalp immediately tingled, and I wanted to fall to my knees and beg him never to make it public. But then I thought that if I appeared to care too much, once he discovered that I had gotten married again, he would probably use this to threaten me. So I racked my brains, trying to think of what I could say to make him give up on the idea of going public. In the end, I said, "Let's give each other another 3 years. If you still can't forget me after 3 years, then 3 years from now, I won't hold your cheating against you anymore, and we can make our relationship public. 3 years from now, I would already be 30. I should be close to retiring from the industry by then, right? Or perhaps I would already be powerful enough not to care whether the fact that I was married became public." Noah said, "I can't wait. I want to make it public now." At that moment, Diego said, "Sir, perhaps you shouldn't make anything public. After all, the two of you are already divorced. What benefit would there be in going public? You had better be more rational. Take a closer look at the people by your side." After saying that, he cast Lisa a meaningful glance. Tears were already streaming all over Lisa's face. Crying, she said, "Noah, I had 4 abortions for you. Is this how you treat me? I've been waiting all this time to marry you. After you divorced her, not only did you refuse to marry me, you became even worse and cheated with other women outside. I never said a single word, and now you still want to remarry her and make me continue being your mistress?" Chapter 47. I did not hear what Noah said, because I turned around and left. Even if I kept listening, I would not hear anything worthwhile. Behind me, Lisa shouted loudly, "Miss Julia, please stop clinging to Noah. Please let him go. Whatever resources you want, you can come to me. I can give them to you." Noah then said to Diego, "Mr. Diego, please don't use your power to force her into sleeping with you. Julia is a girl who would rather break than bend. She would never bow her head to power." Diego took a deep breath and said, "I have never forced her. We are legally married." I had already hurried away as fast as my feet could carry me. Did each and every one of them want to ruin me? What made me break down even more was that, after I returned to my seat, my phone started vibrating frantically. I tapped it open and saw that Noah had actually made a Weibo post tagging me, "Honey, I was wrong. Let's remarry." Chapter 48. Then he posted another message on Weibo apologizing to everyone. He said that he used to think his career was more important than love and marriage, but only after losing them did he realize that love and marriage were the most important things. He even adopted the tone of someone speaking from experience and advised everyone to think carefully about what was truly most important to them. Needless to say, the entirety of Weibo was practically crashing now. Expressionless, I stared at the dazzling stage in front of me. In my heart, I was already weeping rivers. Back then, I had thought I was just an obscure celebrity, so I had not bothered worrying about anything. But now, I was practically about to become a best actress, only for my private life to be exposed as such a mess. Diego sent me a message telling me not to panic and that he would handle it. I did not know how he planned to handle it. Very soon, my talent agency issued a brief statement. It said that I had indeed been married before, but that I had committed no wrongdoing during the marriage. It thanked everyone for their concern. The phrase committed no wrongdoing was practically an admission that there was something to hide. If I had done nothing wrong, then the one who had done something wrong was obviously someone else. Soon, all kinds of exposés appeared, claiming that Noah had cheated on me. Chapter 49. Noah's agency also urgently issued a statement, saying that he and I had indeed been married before, but that we had separated amicably, and that they hoped each of us would be well. Somehow, Noah obtained the address of my home, outside my house. He kept shouting that he wanted to see me. He demanded that I give him an explanation. Diego was just about to call security guards to drive him away. I stopped him and said, "Why provoke him now? What if he lashes out because he's cornered and ruins me? He has such a huge fan base, and right now he's receiving so much attention." So after thinking for a moment, I went out to see him, his eyes bloodshot. He asked me, "You got married? You got married again so quickly? You betrayed me." I explained to him, "I only got married after divorcing you. You saw it yourself. He is my boss. If I didn't marry him, I would have been blacklisted, and my career would have been completely ruined. I have already lost my love. I can't lose my career too." Chapter 50. A sorrowful, guilty look appeared on his face again. I continued, "It was already extremely difficult for me to marry into a powerful family. My parents-in-law are unhappy that I'm a celebrity. They think I belong to a disreputable profession and am not fit to be presented in respectable society. Now that you've dragged me into the eye of the storm, my life will only become even more difficult." At last, he said guiltily, "I'm sorry, I harmed you." I shook my head and said, "You didn't just harm me, you harmed yourself even more. Think about it. Now that you've exposed everything, your career will definitely stagnate, and my career will also be affected. What can you possibly gain from this?" He said, "I don't want to think about so much anymore. All I want now is to get back together with you. Divorce him, no matter how powerful he is. I'm not afraid. I already have enough money for us to live on." I was about to try persuading him again, but he had already pushed me aside and charged into the courtyard. Diego was holding our child, staring coldly at us. Chapter 51. When Noah saw the child, he froze for a moment and said in disbelief, "You married into this family to become a stepmother?" Tears started falling from his eyes. "You were a treasure with me. I couldn't bear to let you suffer the slightest grievance. I never imagined that this old man would actually make you come here to be a stepmother." Noah stared at Diego with hatred and said, "Let her go, or I'll drag all of you down with me. Don't think that just because you're a powerful tycoon, you can do whatever you want." My daughter babbled and reached her hands out toward me, wanting me to hold her, in front of my daughter. None of this mattered anymore. I hurried over, took her into my arms, and soothed her. The sight made Noah unbearably heartbroken. He said, "No wonder I couldn't contact you. You must have been suffering and exhausting yourself here, serving this entire family like some old maidservant." I immediately put on an expression of someone enduring humiliation and hardship, and said to him, "Hurry up and leave." Then I cast a frightened glance at Diego. Diego's expression was just a little speechless, but Noah feared nothing. He raised his fist and swung it at Diego. Chapter 52. But how could he possibly be a match for Diego? Diego caught his fist and twisted his arm behind his back, pinning him to the ground. The police arrived soon after. Noah was taken to the police station, and we went there as well. In the end, Noah was detained for 5 days. I sincerely hoped that he would come to his senses while he was in detention. I had a feeling that once he got out, life would not be peaceful. I asked Diego to find a way to get all the dramas I had filmed released during those few days. Unable to understand me, Diego said, "Why won't you make our marriage public? You're in the entertainment industry, and there are already many men around you. On top of that, you've created a public image of being single. That makes our marriage feel very insecure." I did not say that no one would dare cheat on him or offend a big shot like him. He said to me, "I think you should make our marriage public and disclose your true status. Your resources do not depend on your fans. They come from the company." I did not know whether he was threatening me with those words, but when I thought about it, the company had indeed treated me quite well and given me many excellent opportunities, and considering that he had also treated me well after our marriage, I could only nod and say, Then let's make it public. Chapter 53. Who would have thought that? Even after we had already made our marriage and the fact that we had a child public, Noah would come out and claim online that Diego had abused his power to force me into marrying him, and that the child was not even mine? He even laid out a timeline, saying that after our divorce, it would have been impossible for me to become pregnant and give birth so quickly. That Weibo post turned our dispute from a romance drama into a mystery drama. Netizens began digging into whether I had been forced. As a result, Diego's and my past was dug up. Of course, only the information he had screened beforehand was allowed to circulate. Amid all the different voices, the public came to believe that after my divorce, I had been moved by Diego and gotten together with him. As for the timing of the child's birth, we simply said she had been born prematurely. Diego also released many photos of the two of us together. Although they were not sickeningly sweet, they still gave off a sense of peaceful happiness. Noah came again. By now, he was surrounded by scandals, and his career as a star was completely ruined. Lisa followed behind him, crying. She said, "Are you stupid? She must have hooked up with someone else behind your back a long time ago. Why do you believe she was ever wholeheartedly devoted to you?" Chapter 54. In order to get rid of his incessant pestering, I had no choice but to tell him the truth. I gave birth to the child. My marriage is going quite well. Stop coming here. I haven't suffered any grievances. But he said that I was forcing myself to smile and insisted on taking me away. There was nothing I could do except have the security guards throw him out. After that, he completely stopped working. His looks also deteriorated rapidly, but he often came outside the villa complex, holding up a sign that read, "Julia, I will love you forever and wait for you forever." Lisa stood beside him like a madwoman too, constantly trying to persuade him to go back. He ignored her and even pushed Lisa to the ground. I had no idea what exactly the two of them wanted to do. We could only move away. Chapter 55. The next time I heard news about them, it was once again in the top headlines on Weibo. Incredibly, Lisa was dead. The two of them had still often gone to our former villa complex to hold up signs. But Lisa became pregnant because she had had too many abortions before. She was directly hospitalized to preserve the pregnancy. But when the baby reached 6 months, she still miscarried. I did not know why Lisa wanted to have a child so badly. But after losing the baby, she lost all her spirit too. She probably became depressed, then slit her wrists and killed herself. She died in the bathtub in the bedroom she shared with Noah. In the photos that appeared in the news, Noah looked disheveled and devastated. Afterward, he kept vigil beside Lisa's grave, staring off into the distance as if longing for her return. He posted on Weibo again, "Only after losing you did I realize that you were the air I breathed. I thought you were unimportant and never cherished you. But now that you're gone, I feel as if I'm going to die." Seeing that made my sympathy overflow. Chapter 56. When we went to the cemetery to burn offerings for Diego's ancestors, I went to see Noah. Looking at Lisa's black and white photograph, I was filled with mixed emotions too. How persevering she had once been, posting on Weibo every day, praying that we would get divorced, and then praying every day that she and Noah would get married. I never imagined she would end up like this. I comforted Noah. "Please accept your loss, even in the afterlife. She wouldn't want to see you this broken." His tears came pouring down. If only I had understood my own heart sooner. I was always disgusted with her, saying she could never compare to you. Sometimes, I even shoved her and hit her, thinking that she had ruined me and lured me down the path of promiscuity. But when she left, she took my heart with her too. No matter how I comforted or counseled him, he remained trapped in his obsession, insisting that he had killed Lisa. I was very afraid that he would kill himself too. After all, he did not look mentally stable. Chapter 57. Another 2 years passed. The next time I saw news about him, he had already gained weight and become completely ordinary. He was holding a child, with a woman who looked very much like Lisa standing beside him. Entertainment gossip reported that he had gotten married. He also posted on Weibo himself, saying that he was married, that everything in the past had taught him a lesson, and that he would cherish the person before him properly. I shook my head and sighed. I felt that it had not been worth it for Lisa, yet I also felt that she had destroyed someone else's family. So it was retribution. It was just that the retribution had gone too far. Everyone was moving forward. Only Lisa had remained where she was. Her Weibo account, "Did Noah marry me today?" would never be updated again.